Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, more restrictions relaxed. The latest from the Prime Minister. This as Minnis is grilled on the resignation of Dr. Dwayne Sands as Minister of Health. Plus, a virtual graduation for one private school.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thank you for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. The country has begun entering phase 4 of reopening, and effective June 13th, the weekend lockdowns we have come to know over the past 3 months will be lifted. That's according to Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who announced that government has relaxed a number of restrictions during a press conference this evening.
We have decided to maintain the 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew Monday to Sunday for a period of time. We are doing this in order to continue to open in a gradual and sustained manner.
Effective Monday, June 8th, beaches and parks will reopen on Eleuthera, Exuma, San Salvador, and Harbor Island. Effective June 15th, hair salons and barber shops will reopen following certification by the Ministry of Health. 86 people remain in a government quarantine facility. Now, as for residents returning to the Bahamas, effective tomorrow, they will no longer be required to enter the government's quarantine facility. Minnis also sought to bring clarification on visitors and locals being tested for COVID-19 prior to their travel to the Bahamas.
Both require a COVID testing. If you're talking about up to July 1st, we've not thought that far yet, but as far as we're concerned at this particular time, and even when the Minister of Tourism spoke, those individuals that he spoke about require testing, and all traveling home require testing also. Up to July 1st, we cannot speak to that at this particular time.
Effective Monday, June 8th, exercise will be permitted from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. beyond one's immediate neighborhood. The Prime Minister also relaxed restrictions for those in the restaurant industry.
Effective Friday, June 12th, restaurants may reopen with outdoor sitting only. There will be no indoor sitting allowed at this point. This includes restaurants at Araki Fish Fry and Portuguese Dock.
National examinations will begin on July 13th. The Prime Minister was also asked about concerns regarding the government's rental assistance programs and the fact that some landlords are not cooperating.
I have heard and received numerous complaints of what you speak of, and I am in active discussion with my Attorney General as to how we can deal with this matter.
Well, the Prime Minister was also asked about the resignation of Dr. Dwayne Sands as Minister of Health after Minnis said there was a breach of protocol when 6 Americans were allowed to disembark a flight with 2,500 test swabs. Minnis was asked why he accepted Sands' resignation during this crisis and exactly what was the breach.
This matter has been discussed and debated extensively in the public domain, and at this particular point in time, we are more concerned with dealing with the COVID pandemic, getting our economy running again, ensuring that people get their jobs back, ensuring that people have food on their table, and we decreased our unemployment, or increase our employment status that we see today. And I do wish him well in his private sector role.
But Minnis was asked again exactly what was the protocol that was breached. He responded saying the matter is done.
That matter was discussed ad infinitum in the press. So that matter is finished, okay? We are moving on, trying to get our economy running, trying to deal with this pandemic, get people out functioning, working, and have food for their family and themselves. That is our priority today. Thank you.
Well, the traditional Labor Day celebrations have been canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. While trade unionists say they understand the current crisis, it's still upsetting that some form of celebration was not approved. Jillian Gray has more.
Trade unionists are lamenting the fact that they will not be able to have a parade on Labor Day. Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson said he wrote a letter to the Commissioner of Police requesting that they be allowed to have a motorcade, but that request was denied.
I said to myself and to my colleagues, If we can drive for 8 hours in our cars throughout this country, I, O.B. Ferguson, find it extremely difficult that we could not find at least an hour.
Labor Day traditionally is celebrated with thousands of union members marching through the streets to celebrate workers. Named after noted trade unionist Sir Randall Fox, it is a significant day for workers, according to Ferguson, who said it is sad to see that one of the most important days for the workforce was not honored.
You put me where I am, you put them other people elsewhere, so why can't you tell them when you see them doing something stupid? This is a special day. Everybody in the Bahamas supposed to be here to honor a real Bahamian. But no, everything is politics.
Though they will not get to celebrate in the traditional way, National Congress of Trade Unions President Bernard Evans said most unions do plan to celebrate. He added the day will go down in history.
We've asked all of our affiliates to do something in their own way. And some, for instance, tomorrow, for the fallen soldiers, one of our unions will be going down on East Street North to lay a wreath there for the fallen sisters. A lot of the unions are doing little bread basket items to give out to the retirees and the essential workers in the workplace. But obviously, we're hopeful that we would have another time during this year to celebrate labor and to do it in a more grandiose style.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Police serve an ever-watchful public that expects officers to protect them, not abuse their powers when dealing with them. That was the warning from Police Chief Paul Roll today as a group of officers completed tactical training and defensive driving courses. Giorgio Bain reports.
During the Tactical Defense graduation ceremony here at the Police College, Commissioner of Police Paul Roll warning the criminal element that a zero-tolerance approach will be taken to crime as some major changes are already underway in the police force. 21 brand new patrol cars line the Police College grounds, red and blue lights flashing. This new fleet will now be in the hands of over 40 officers who completed their tactical training course. Commissioner of Police Paul Roll, delivering the keynote address at today's graduation, cautioned the officers not to abuse their justifiable force training.
You were retrained in justifiable force and harm. I need you to always be mindful of your limitations in the use of force. We serve an ever-aware and watching public that expect us to protect them and not to abuse our powers in dealing with them.
The new police chief revealed that he has already begun restructuring the force.
As a part of my restructuring of the force, I have removed the flying squad from under the Criminal Investigation Department, now CID, and created a new department which is called Operations Command. Operations Command is a compendium of what we have always been accustomed to as mobile patrol, which is the mobile operations. We have included then the rapid response team and flying squad.
A move that Roll said he hopes will yield better productivity from officers.
This enables us to conduct operations on a 24-hour basis in order to disrupt all of these criminal enterprises. And this way, at the same time, CID is able now to focus strictly on investigation and giving quality to their work.
Roll took a brief break from congratulating officers on their accomplishment to send a stern warning to criminals.
To those in our communities who seek to engage in these types of nefarious behavior, I implore you to desist. Otherwise, I wish to put you on notice that we will take a zero-tolerance approach and we will seek you out relentlessly.
Reporting for our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
After being grounded for roughly 3 months, Bahamasair's managing director Tracy Cooper revealed the airline's financial situation and outlined plans for the resumption of flight services. With more on this, here's Berthany McDermott.
The national flag carrier is facing significant costs due to its downtime resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. Bahamasair Managing Director Tracy Cooper estimates that the airline's static cost alone could be as much as $10 million. Additionally, he projected a 20% reduction in demand going into the summer.
Therefore, we do have static cost that even if we don't operate the airline, we still have to have these obligations or take care of these obligations. So the airline has seen a static cost that is very significant, easily over, around $8 to $10 million.
Stressing that the amount of flights operated daily is based on demand, Cooper says the airline will be operating on a truncated schedule. Additionally, those who may already have tickets booked are allowed to change their travel dates free of charge. Bahamasair is set to take off for domestic travel on Monday, and so far Cooper says the airline has seen light bookings.
A lot of persons who had a little bit of a financial shortfalls during the COVID-19, travel in a lot of instances is a discretionary spend for a person's household. So we do expect that we will not see a strong bookings and travel, and hence the reason why we're putting in the 20% reduction. Starting out now, though, it's just the beginning.
Here's what you can expect starting this Monday. Travelers are asked to arrive at the airport at least 2 hours ahead for domestic travel and 3 hours early for international travel. Everyone must wear masks for the entire flight. Passengers will have to fill out forms for contact tracing purposes, and the airline will not provide catering capabilities. And despite this new era of social distancing, Bahamasair says it will follow guidelines laid out by the International Air Transport Association, which opposes social distancing on aircraft.
Somebody got to pay for this, all of this. And if we were to do too much of a seat distancing on the airplane, the cost for air travel will easily go up by about 30 to 40%, right? And so the question is that absolutely necessary?
As for staff, Cooper says they have maintained all permanent staff. And with such a major loss, Cooper said it will be a strain meeting all of the airline's financial obligations.
Taking care of the airline's cost obligation, no doubt, it's going to be a bit of a struggle.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks, Berthany. Still to come, the police chief pledges to address police brutality. Plus, Sir Randall Fox honored ahead of Labor Day. Stay tuned. Concerns over police brutality within the Royal Bahamas Police Force are being addressed, according to Commissioner of Police Paul Roll, who says new policies will be implemented to clean up the force.
We have been addressing that, and I've taken a more proactive approach to dealing with breaches of discipline in the Royal Bahamas Police Force and trying to clean that up.
Roll's comments come as anti-police brutality protests and riots are being held in major cities across the U.S. following the death of George Floyd. The African-American died while in police custody last week. In recent years, the Royal Bahamas Police Force has repeatedly come under fire over complaints of police brutality. Roll says those complaints have not gone unnoticed and processes will be put in place to address them.
I think we're making some good progress internally. You're going to see some things. We've also been meeting with the police inspectorate, and that is the process that we have ongoing.
There were 151 complaints made against officers in 2019. Complaints against police declined in 2019 compared to 2018. Well, trade unionists joined the family of Sir Randall Fox to lay a wreath at his grave in honor of his life and work in the labor movement. Son of the late Randall Fox, David Fox, said he is proud of the legacy his father has left and the progress of the trade union movement has made in the last 60 years.
We are grateful to God that on this day, representatives of all workers stand here in one spirit of solidarity. On behalf of the Fox family, I say thank you, and we remain united with you as you strive for greater Bahamas.
Progressive Liberal Party members were also in attendance to pay their respects to Sir Randall, who was a former PLP minister. Opposition leader Philip Davis remembered Fox as a defender of people who challenged oppressive systems.
As we draw strength from the faith of the mustard seed that guided Sir Randall Fox, we reiterate our sentiments that Labour deserves a government who will engage them in a spirit of goodwill and mutual respect. The current state of Labour undermines a deeply rooted social contract between the government and the people that must be honored.
Still to come, QC seniors to get a virtual graduation. Stay tuned. You're watching Our News. Welcome back. Despite the school semester taking on a different format halfway through, students at a local private school will be promoted to the next grade level, and seniors will have a virtual graduation. Queens College Principal Reverend Henry Knoll says the last thing they want is for students to be disadvantaged because of something they had no control over.
Any shortcomings we will be aiming towards in the fall, catching up on them.
Report Card Day is still on for the end of the month at Queens College, only virtually as the school year officially comes to an end. And while classes have transitioned online, for QC students, it will be on to the next grade in the fall. The only concern now is national examinations like the BJC and BGCSEs, which have been postponed.
But we're confident and comfortable with where our students are at. We would still prefer the government to come up with a solution. Pretty much, I think that solution is too late now. And so we'll be looking forward to seeing what the government Ministry of Education is saying going into the future.
He said thankfully the 150 12th grade students took BGCSEs in the 11th grade. QC has a student body of over 1,700 with 980 in high school, 600 in elementary, and just over 100 Little Comets in foundation years. Now, as for concerns regarding tuition, Reverend Knoll said the school has found ways to work with parents, from discounts to payment plans.
Private schools rely on that tuition, right? That's the bulk of their income. And so we could not just ignore it. And for September, what we have offered is a credit on school tuition for students who are going to be returning, as well as family discounts, full year discounts. And we really feel that with all of these measures, our parents should be able to keep up with tuition because we, like every school, we want to continue to be a success.
Knoll said the school has been in constant communication with parents, sending out updates, which have also been posted on their website. He added that though times may not be the best right now, QC is constantly finding new ways to help its students as well as celebrate them, like a virtual graduation ceremony for the 12th grade students set to leave the halls in a less than traditional way.
There's some students who are already saying, well, me and my family, we're going to have a graduation party, viewing party. We're going to watch it together. Some parents have said no matter where they are, they will have their office computer or their phones tuned in. And it's going to be interactive. You're going to have the opportunity to give your digital congratulations and all of those things. And so we're very happy to be able to do this. We have some surprises that are going to blow our students' socks off when they see some of the surprises that are part of the ceremony. And we're even planning a few things for afterwards.
Still to come, a Grand Bahama athlete honored. Stay tuned. Finally, tonight in news, a Grand Bahama athlete having his efforts rewarded with a high honor. Marcellus Hall reports.
Well, as we continue what I like to call our COVID Chronicles, we take a look at another one of our student athletes who had a great season prior to the disruption caused by COVID-19. One of those young men, Chiron Kemp, who is got All-American honors based on his performance at Morehead State University. Young man talked about his season and what's ahead.
It feels as an accomplishment because I work hard for it. My coach would tell me what to do and I would just follow in his footsteps. But like I said earlier, it was very devastating for me not to compete in nationals because that's what I competed for, that's what I practiced for. And my goal for nationals was to place top 3, but that couldn't happen because of the COVID-19 breakout.
I want you to take me back to when you first got recruited to go to college. When you heard that and now you had this opportunity, what was your mindset going in?
My mindset was to don't stray away, stay focused on my goal and what I came there for. Because basically my whole high school career I would play basketball, and transitioning from basketball to track, it was pretty hard. So I just came to love the sport, I guess, work hard at it.
What do you see for yourself now moving forward on the other side of this? How do you look at this now and utilize this to kind of, I guess, get better moving forward?
I look at this as a time to work on my weakness, focus on my weakness, and try to strengthen them within this time.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do different this year that you didn't do last year and it helped you to get to this point?
Well, I would say listen. I would listen, practice more by myself. I would do excessive workouts without my coach knowing. So extra workouts at home.
What's your advice now to other young men or women coming behind you? If they get a chance to go off to university and compete athletically to get an education, what would be your advice to them?
So maximize your potential, maximize your talent. Don't stick to one thing. Try new things out. Stay focused.
We'll continue to watch out for young Chiron Kemp, who, by the way, is being coached by one of our own, Mr. Trevor Barrett, an Olympian who is also a high jumper and is certainly doing great things with Chiron. More to come. I'm Marcellus Hall for our news.
Thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Kyle Joaquin. Remember, you can catch Our News on the go with the RevGo Play app. Stay tuned for a message from the Minister of Labor, followed by a brand new episode of On the Record with host Jerome Sawyer. Have a good evening, Bahamas.